Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video I want to show you a couple quick tricks that you can use to jazz up your Excel charts. So we are working with charts in Excel and showing data, and we can do a couple interesting things where we use shapes as our chart blocks, or we can even use pictures, pictures of people or something, buildings, whatever the case may be. I'm going to go ahead and delete these two charts. And I've already got some data set up, just some mock data. I'm going to go ahead and select my months top row, control, I'm going to go ahead and select my totals data, and then I will insert a standard 2D column chart. We'll start off with this one. Let's see, I will go ahead and reduce the gap width just to make those bars a little bit chunkier. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a shape. So I'm just going to get the shape off to the side here that I can work with. I'm going to go to Insert Shapes, and the one I often go to and I've lost it already. Here it is, this little flow chart shape right here. However, I like the curvy part to be at the top, so I'm just going to turn it around. So now I can kind of see it really well. Let's see, while I'm here with this, I'm going to get rid of the shape outline, no outline, and you can go ahead and choose the color that you might want to. I can just leave it at the default, but I will change it out to a dark purple. Okay, now this shape is actually going to be used as a picture, and it's going to stretch to fill up the particular bar. So in order to minimize distortion, it's good to kind of size it to roughly the size of maybe the biggest or somewhere in the middle, so that way it'll distort relatively evenly for different ones. So I guess the height is roughly about this one. I'll go ahead and adjust the width too. That's pretty easy. Perfect. Okay, so I've got my shape ready. Now I'm just going to Control C to copy that shape. I'm going to click once on any of my bars. I can see that I've got selection handles on all of them. Control V is in Victor to paste, and now I've got that. Now because of the nature of these little curvy tops, I can go and delete this. Because of the nature of these little curvy tops, you might say, it could be a little bit distracting to try to read over. So what I would typically do here is right click, go ahead and add data labels, and you can select those data labels, make them as big as you might want them, and then you might even determine that, you know what, you don't even need the x-axis labels since we're using data labels. And now the proportional heights of these are pretty easy to determine, and plus we have, of course, the data labels for each value to really see which, March is the biggest and April is the smallest. So that's one quick little technique to use shapes in your chart blocks. I'll move that down off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and create another quick chart here. I'll select my months and my totals, insert, and I'm just going to go ahead and do a 2D column chart, and I will select those, reduce the gap width to make it nice and chunky. Okay. Now off to the side, just so I have something to work with, is I'm going to go ahead and go to Insert. I'm going to go to icons first. I think icons and then cut out people. You could use icons, by the way, too. That could potentially work. But since most icons are square shaped, they're probably not going to look that good on our tall column. I'll just go to cut out people. And I'm going to go ahead and grab, let's see, I just need some people here. I will take this guy, and I would like people facing the camera. Let's go for this woman, and this guy, and this woman. And I'm just going to go ahead and insert those onto my spreadsheet. Now, of course, when they pop up, they're really big and kind of unwieldy, but of course, I should have, when they were all selected, I could have sized them all at once. That would have been a smart thing for me to do, but let's see if I can't do it this way. So I'll select her, hold in my control key, I'll go ahead and select everybody else, and I'll go to picture format, and I'm going to reduce that height so that they are all much more palatable. I'm going kind of slow here with the arrows, but good enough. Now, you can use these in the same way that we did that shape before. I can select one person here, Control C to copy, click on my bars, all of them are selected, Control V is in Victor to paste, and now we've got this guy as this for all of them. And you see it does get a little bit distorted. And that may not be a bad way to go for certain pictures, depending on what you want to put in there. I could see, a picture of a building being in there for sure. So maybe that's the way you want to go. I'm going to Control Z to undo. Now the other thing we can do is actually incorporate each person into the chart. They'll stick with the chart, but they won't necessarily stick with the data. So for instance, I can select this first person. I'm going to Control X to cut, click once on the plot area of the chart. I take that back, that's not really the plot area, just the chart area, and the Control V is in Victor to paste, and now he is in the chart. And you think, okay, what's the big deal with that? I'm going to size him so he's about the height of this first bar. Well, now when I move the chart around, he's going to go with it. So he's now part of that chart. And I'll do something similar for these other folks. Click on the chart area and paste. And I'll put him over here and just kind of size him. For this, take this woman here, Control X, click on the chart area, Control V is in Victor to paste, and I'll size her right about there. And this last woman, Control X, click on the chart area, Control V is in Victor to paste, and I'm going to move her over here. Oops. Well, I'll size this way. And I like to just about here. And so now we've got these people, and I kind of like to do them a little bit off center, and so the bars are still there. Now, if you like the idea of maybe getting rid of the bars, but not really getting rid of the bars, of course you can select these bars, and you could just change their color so that they had no fill and no outline, and you just kind of get those people there. However, they're not truly connected with the data. So for instance, if my February data right here, let's say it's a really big number like 15,000, it didn't change the height of this individual because we didn't copy and paste them into those particular bars. And if I select my bars, they're right there, and I've put them back. So let's do a solid fill. We can say, oh, okay, that didn't really work out too well. I'm going to go and Control Z a couple times, and let's get back to this phase right there. Now, the other downside of this is if I decide, you know what, I don't want those labels there. I'm going to delete those x-axis labels, and I will go ahead and put in my data labels so we can see all of that. Make them a little bit bigger, more noticeable. You can see my people are going to need a little bit of adjusting. I'm not too bothered by that though. I don't mind just moving them over just a little bit. Once you get your chart sized the way you think you're going to want it to be, just adjust those people. But remember, good news is we can move the whole chart around, and those people are connected to my my chart. And there we go. So that's just two quick ways you can kind of jazz up your charts a little bit with shapes and or pictures. Take care.